Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of the Walking Dead television series. This is for episode 12, The Key. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet, you definitely want to watch it before you watch this review. And if you guys missed it, I'll have it in the description with the link, as well as in the end video credits after you're done watching this review. You can see my initial viewing reaction after just seeing the episode. If you did get to see it, you know that I absolutely loved this episode. This episode was so entertaining and so unexpected. I mean, both in what they did in the episode, and even, you know, as a viewer, as a fan, as you're watching kind of the final scenes of the episode here, and you see Jada show up out of nowhere, and then she's got Negan. It's like, she knocks him out. It's like, what is going on here? So this episode was just so entertaining. It was so different. It was so strange. It was so unusual. And it was just, oh man, so much fun. Wow. So I don't think that, I have to tell you guys that I absolutely loved everything that they did in this episode with Lucille and with Negan. You get your hands off of her. Oh my God. This was so, even right up from the intro sequence. So you got all the parts before the intro. Right before it, you are beautiful, baby. He's got her in a bucket of guts. It's just awesome in his own kind of, well, I guess he's not alone because he's got her with him, right, in their car, kind of going off by themselves. But so many things happened in this episode I didn't expect. We kind of knew we were going to see some action with Rick. We knew we might see some kind of, confrontation between Rick and Negan. But I did not think it was going to be as much as it was. I did not think it was going to be as great as it was. And I didn't think that it would feel as natural as it did. Like, I thought going into the episode, if they're going to have Rick and Negan kind of, fight it out here, it's going to feel a bit contrived. But it didn't. It didn't at all. You see Rick, he spots Negan, and he's ready to kind of signal the others. But then he's like, no, screw this. I'm going in. And it felt like perfect for him because after just seeing Carl being killed, he's just looking for an outlet to just channel this aggression and channel all this pain and anger that he's got bent up after what's happened here, and just, rams the car right into Negan, knocking him off. But then I also didn't realize how clean this fits, where you have Simon, who you have this problem festering with Simon as well, too, that he's no longer listening to Negan's position on things. He doesn't want to let the junkyard people survive. He basically kills them all except for Jadis, and at this point, he's probably going to wish he did kill Jadis too. Or maybe he doesn't, because maybe he doesn't care what happens to Negan. And also when we see him and kind of Dwight going through things here, it just made perfect sense that he would just leave him on his own. Like, it made perfect sense that he's like, screw him, whatever. And, luckily for Negan, it didn't come to a situation where he had gotten away from Rick, but then ran into Simon and Dwight, because given that set of circumstances there, I think Simon would have actually killed him. I think Simon would have been like, okay, Dwight gets the point, whatever, he lights the car on fire. But I think Simon would have just killed Negan right then and there. And then after Negan was dead, go right on with what he wants to do, which is kill them all, or like they kind of said, start over, just head out, take care of the saviors, leave, whatever, and go find another location, another spot to rebuild. Because right now the group is so beaten down and just tired and everything, and low on all the supplies and everything, that really, he's probably just going to decide, like, okay, let's just go. But it does look like, even though Negan's been taken, he has decided to kind of go to the hilltop and try to take out the people, all of our survivors that are in fact there. But going into this episode, I did not think a confrontation between Rick and Negan could fit so well. But the way they did it was freaking brilliant, for sure. And this episode was surprisingly directed by Greg Nicotero again, and man, it's like he gets all the best episodes, or at least he does all the best episodes. I don't know, but this is the most fun. I'll say this right away. This is the most fun episode we've had maybe all season. This is definitely the most fun episode we've had this half, and just overall, it's just such a fun episode. I mean, it's the best. It's the most entertaining, the funnest episode I think we've had in a while for people that like Negan, like Rick, like Lucille. It's just so fun, man. So we begin the episode off. We have Negan and the smiling faces. We see him. We see Simon. We see Dwight. Got some rings going on there. Dwight's rings, top guys. So we get the discussion between Negan and Dwight before they kind of leave. And Negan is pretty trusting in Dwight still. He sees that he got shot, and he doesn't really assume hardly anything of it. Dwight kind of tells him what happened and blockade, hilltop, this kind of thing. And so Negan pretty much just buys into it. He doesn't really suspect that Dwight is on their side, and of course he doesn't know either that Simon is on their side until later on when he finds out from Rick that they had exterminated, basically annihilated the entire junkyard group at the hands of Simon. On him at this point. The whole thing not working. So we get the Simon speech. So, injure them, let them turn, don't kill them. So that's a really cool one. He's got a couple good speeches as we go through this episode. We got the guts. We get to see the brutal guts as everything's going through, which I love. You're supposed to see that. This is The Walking Dead. We got to see some guts. We got to see some of that stuff. And I'm glad that they showed it in this episode and they didn't kind of hold it back like they've been doing in the past year or two, kind of worried about having things be a little bit too brutal. I'm glad they kind of showed it with the zombies, and it was like as gory and as gross as it probably should be. So we got Rick arriving back at the hilltop. We get a conversation between him and Darrow. He gets to see Judith for a moment. He gets to go to the graves for a moment, and it ain't right, it ain't fair. Darrow defends his actions with what happened at the sanctuary, and Rick totally understands. He totally gets it. He pretty much at this point, I'd say, just doesn't even care in the slightest. We've got the hilltop with the lookouts, and Rick kind of wants to go out and be one of them on his own right now. I think he kind of wants to be alone for a bit, so he does that, and of course the opportunity comes up afterwards. We got Maggie, so I think he'll come back from this, and this line here felt a little bit like, talking about Carl, not really talking about him leaving and coming, we get it. It's been done to death at this point, I think. So it's what it is. You can't come back from this. I know you can. So we're not too far gone. Not if Negan is dead. So then Maggie is pretty much saying that if Negan's dead, then everything will be much better, right? So as we kind of get to see in this episode, Negan's taken out of the picture, and things are not better at all. In fact, they might be worse, because at least Negan would show some restraint if the Saviors are to win this battle, win this war. Simon will not do that. He's even more vicious than Negan, really. So then we go from there. We've got the Saviors rolling in. We get the sight line from Rick that he sees Negan there, rams him and everything. We've got, let's see, so he doesn't honk the horn, right? We've got the mission. So we get this van. We get this message from this other kind of group. But also let's go into the part here too with Dwight and Simon going on foot, them blocking things off and kind of telling the whole group to stay there. And then, hey, prick, that one, at the top of the stairs, and then kind of Rick like throwing it. I love this part. This is great. And then the axe, and then he kind of falls down, right? He lets go. He has to, otherwise Rick's going to cut his damn hand off. So he lets go, and he falls down in through the floor. And really exciting, Rick running after him, and you get the slide, right? Negan, like the same trick as he tried last time. Negan tries to hit him with a bat around the corner, and Rick slides underneath, which was wicked awesome. And man, it was just one of the best. Like I wrote down here, best shit ever. One of the best scenes we've seen in quite a while, just to see the two of them one-on-one, mano and mano. We did get to see something like it in the mid-season finale there, but there was so much other stuff going on. It didn't really, it wasn't kind of the concentration. It was just kind of a quick little scrap between the two, and then, they kind of left. So it was what it was. But in this one, we got to see them actually throw down back and forth. We got to see all the zombies coming in. Rick grabbed Lucille, which we're getting to. So absolutely sick. And then we've got Maggie with this meeting with Georgie, which was just like, what? Like, where is this coming from? Like, this character was just so out of place. I just could not even, is this for real? Like, is this a dream? Like, what is going on here? So the first thought I had is someone from the Commonwealth, maybe. So maybe they're starting to kind of bring in, because she certainly looks like she could be somebody from the Commonwealth. And they do have people there that are pretty smart and pretty kind of advanced. So now she did mention a coffee shop and that, so I don't know. I'll probably have to watch those parts again because I was so distracted by all the awesomeness with Rick versus Negan. I could barely even, contain myself waiting during these scenes. I just wanted to see more of what was happening with that. That happens sometimes with Walking Dead when you got one storyline, you're just like, you can't wait to see. Then they bring in something new and it's like, now is not the time for this. I want to see Rick and Negan, Lucille. What's going to happen? So it's what it is. Benevolent. So knowledge, right? I don't know. So it was weird. Won't last forever. And then, the name of the episode is The Key. So she gives Maggie the information, the knowledge that they would need to, start over, rebuild civilization, do all the things they need to do for a future, a key to the future type of deal. This just felt very meta. It just felt like something like the writing team is giving to the group in order to, build in the future. But, it was really odd, really strange group to see out of nowhere. Even kind of Enid kind of says, and the others as well too, they're just like, what is going on here? Like, is this for real? It was just very, very bizarre, very strange. It's kind of like we're at war right now, so we really don't have time for this shit. I don't know. It was just something so strange. They end up making a deal in the end. You get the question of morally, what should they do? Enid wants to just take all their shit and just say, screw them. Because for her, Carl was nice and Carl's dead and she's killing Natanya and she's okay. So she thinks that's the right way to go. Michonne's kind of in the middle and kind of is taken from Carl that no, we still have to be the good guys. We still have to do the right thing. And so luckily she agrees to give them some food and she's able to give them the key. And but they owe her one. So they're in her debt. In the future, they're going to have to pay her back eventually. So it was just so strange. It just caught me at just left field. It was like, what is going on here? So again, you guys will probably do a whole video on it this week. I'm going to watch all those scenes again, listen closely to the things she says with a cool mind. I'm not so amped after seeing the Negan and Rick stuff, and really see what this is. So we'll dissect it. But you guys can leave your comments below now if you want to, and I'll go through them, and then we'll do a whole Q&A on that this week sometime, maybe tomorrow or the next day, on just what the hell that was all about, how strange that was, and where, is it just the three of them? Is she part of a larger group like the Commonwealth or something? What do you guys think? I'm trying to think of like a comic book tie-in here that would make sense, and I'm just like drawing kind of a blank, unless it's kind of like a new group or something that we haven't really seen, similar to the Junkyard group in the TV series, which doesn't exist in the comics. So we'll get into that more in a Q&A video this week. And then we've got Rick with the lighter, and then I'm a goddamn cat, right? That's another good one from Negan. 9 lives, so that's fun. We've got the him finding Lucille, and then they cut to commercials right after that. That was epic. So when Rick finds Lucille, that was just so cool, and the smile on his face and everything. Man, did you see why I was distracted from the other scenes here? I was just like, just processing all this awesomeness while you've got this old librarian lady with glasses. It's like, I'm not interested in this. I want to see Negan versus Rick. Awesome stuff. This is where you die, right? And then Negan, what the hell is your problem, Rick? This is awesome. It's all the way through. Fantastic. And Negan finds a pipe. He's like, oh, it's not Lucille. And throw her down, whatever. One-time deal, 25%, right? So he tries to make a deal with Rick, and Rick, mentions what they did to the scavengers, the Junkyard people, Jadis's people. And you've got the Rick Lucille part. Then you've got Simon and Dwight. So they have a conversation. We've seen some of it, but we kind of know, what they, I kind of went over what what happens there during their conversation, and Dwight kind of just being, it seems to me like Dwight kind of wants to remain impartial, which is a smart place to be. If it's some kind of test from Simon, he doesn't want to be thrown under the bus or something to try to mutiny if Negan does come back and reaffirm position. He also kind of wants to be careful with Simon, I think. I don't think he 100% trusts Simon, which is smart, because Negan can't trust Simon either. And he's kind of wants to remain somewhat impartial, but he's kind of going along with it, as we got to see there near the end. And then, so we get the conversation about taking their stuff with Enid. We got Rick, it's never going to last. You can't save anyone. You use people. Don't you touch her. And he can tackle, right? Awesome. Get your hands off her. Kill us both, Rick. So then he's going to cause them both to be killed as long as you die first, right? This type of thing. As long as you go first. So that was really cool. So loved all that stuff. We've got the Simon and Dwight return, the plan from Simon kind of expunge, right? We're going to redact them. Basically, he's going to say, we're governor style, we're going to kill them all, right? And then Jadis has Negan at the end. What an entertaining episode, man. I mean, this is exactly what I want to see from Walking Dead. I mean, really, so many episodes of the series. Like lately, especially as well, too, people have been complaining a lot, that kind of thing. And, it's something that started big time. It's always been a thing. Sometimes you get people complaining about Walking Dead, but, even in season 5, there was a good number of people complaining about it. First half, I remember. But, it got worse in season 7 for sure. Season 8, it's kind of continued on. It's become a popular thing to hate on Walking Dead. But I'm really glad this episode. I don't see how anybody could hate this episode. I thought it was awesome, unexpected, and I can't wait to see how this whole thing comes down and how all that war kind of turns out here. What is Jadis going to do with Negan? That's just awesome. So in terms of score, I'm going to give it 9.4 out of 10, but it is one of the most fun, entertaining episodes ever. It's just some things in it felt very strange. Some of the lines and stuff I was like, I'm not into. but I mean, don't get me wrong. It was so much fun, just such a fun episode, and so entertaining. I freaking loved it, man. It was fantastic. So let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Where are you at on this one? How do you feel about this Georgie? What? Like, what? I just don't. What? I have no idea. And, kind of a more unpredictable episode. What did you guys think about it? Leave your comments below. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. You can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for my predictions, what I think is going to happen in episode 13. We got 4 episodes left of The Walking Dead Season 8. So for this one, see you guys again in about half an hour to an hour. Check out the reaction video if you haven't seen it yet. And it's Trev. I'm saying peace. See you guys soon. Well, I hope you're wearing your subscribing pants. What? Your subscribing pants. Because you're going to subscribe to this channel wearing those pants.